Hello. Hello, family members. Welcome back to another video. Lately I shouldn't even say lately, it's beyond lately. I am absolutely addicted to my phone. But it's not really about my phone. It might, at its core, just be an addiction to the internet or applications. Because when I think about it, yes, there are a couple applications that I use that are very convenient. But for the most part, any one of the applications that I find myself using on my phone incredibly frequently when I have free time, sitting there, laying on my back or sitting down, killing time. Almost all of those things are things that I can be doing on my computer, things that I used to do on the computer. You sit down, you do the thing, and then you're done. And I have this thing that happens where I'm on the phone, I close an app, and next thing you know, the app is open again, and I'm inside of it again, consuming media. And I wasn't even conscious of during that moment when I reopened it. I keep finding myself, it's become muscle memory in my hand, and it's bringing me back into the app when I'm staring into my phone. And maybe I shouldn't, well, it is what it is. I think addiction probably is the correct term, but I don't want to exaggerate. It's not like it's ruining my life, but it certainly affects the way you use your time. But I'm looking at my screen time now compared to, again, in the past, like before I had a smartphone, when I just had a flip phone. I don't spend much time at all. It's actually incredible how little time I spend in life talking on the phone or even texting with people. The majority of the time spent on my phone these days is, like I said, it's in some app or something. It's media consumption, entertainment. I guess that's used as an escape. And I will find things sometimes, YouTube Shorts, for example, is pretty much just garbage. Like that it does end up being pretty much a waste of time. But I recently put on Instagram, and what I tell myself about that is, I guess the excuse I have, or the justification, is that I do find really funny videos that make me laugh. And laughter, for me, is like one of the most important things about this experience. Important probably isn't the best word, because it almost implies that it sounds serious, and laughter is not serious. But I love to laugh, and I love to make people laugh. Sometimes I laugh and I can't even articulate why I have just laughed. When somebody says, "What's funny?" when they're in my presence and I laugh at something that I visualized. It wasn't a joke, like a setup punch. It was a visual, it was something visual, and I'll laugh because I love to laugh, and I guess I'm almost always very close to that place where I can laugh. And in the past, in life, I've spent relatively long periods of time in a dark space, emotionally or mentally. And even in those spaces, I have found ways to laugh without thinking about it, without planning it out and thinking, oh, I need to find a way to laugh. Just automatically, my being gravitates toward laughter. So I've developed a pretty deep sense of dark humor, I guess, or an ability to access humor in those dark areas of conversation or thought. You take a dark theme that normally would be tragic or horrific or sad or off limits for some reason, and I've learned how to find humor in those areas. And it's cool that even after leaving those dark spaces, personal spaces, I still have access to that type of humor. So, now that it's all said and done, and I am where I am now, outside of that dark, heavy space, and everything is so much better, I'm left with an even more broad ability to access states of humor or comedy that will allow me to experience more laughter. But anyway, all of that is just to say that that's how I justify using Instagram, because I have those videos. But it really, truthfully, there is no justification, because it's so much time spent seeing a lot of BS or some questionable content before I can find those. I'm thinking today, and it won't last. I know myself, and the older I become, it really has nothing to do with age, I think. The more experience I gain in life, the more I value discipline, and the more I am learning discipline, self-discipline, and otherwise. I am experiencing and have been experiencing the payoff, I guess, the benefits of extended periods, weeks, months, years of discipline. That is like enforcing rules within your own personal inner world and external experience, like creating rules, enforcing rules, and sticking to them. So while on one hand, I now more than ever value that and find it to be important, self-discipline. On the other hand, I very much value freedom and this experience that we have of free will here. I am aware that there are people who don't believe that we have free will, and to me the thought is silly. But maybe it's at the end of the day, it's just like games with words that people are playing. I think we're all plugged into the same experience here. But anyway, the free will is probably what will eventually have me re-downloading these apps. But I'm thinking today, especially now that I'm talking about this, I should probably delete these apps from my phone, because the accounts still exist. YouTube, for example, I'm highly addicted to YouTube, consuming media on YouTube. And it's like, it does not need to happen on my phone. I could delete the app off my phone. I could certainly delete Instagram, and yeah, YouTube is probably the big one now that I'm talking about it. But yeah, have the time, the free time. Okay, I'm gonna go look at videos on YouTube. Better on a larger screen anyway, so I should just go on the computer and do that. And then eventually I will become tired of sitting in that position. That's the thing about the phone, is I can change my position at will and still have the screen in front of my face. Yeah, I know a lot of people who are the same as me, highly addicted to technology or the internet, but really this is about my phone. I'm highly addicted to my phone, more than ever. And I know it because I have the thought like, well, instead of deleting the apps, why not go back to a flip phone, right? A phone that doesn't have apps, or not to this degree, not to the degree that these smartphone touchscreen devices have apps. Go back to a flip phone, text and call, and that's it. Anything else, you use a computer. That's an option, but I know I'm addicted because when I think about that, I don't want to do that. It's almost like there's a fear or something. I don't know what that is, but it's not good. It's not a good sign. And luckily, when I refer to this addiction, this so-called addiction to my phone, it's not to the degree that I'm not somebody who needs to keep constantly checking my phone every 5 seconds when I'm in public, or pull it out when I'm at dinner. But I might do that. I don't prohibit myself from doing that. Sometimes depending on the situation, I might pull it out and send or receive a message or something. But yeah, it's interesting because I know that I can be without access to these apps. I've deleted them before. Eventually they come back. But yes, it's too much screen time. And the thing is this, if I were to spend as much time as I do on my phone or using my phone, it's like, how can I word this? If I were making money on my phone, then I'd be able to justify it. It's like, hey, you spent this many hours or this many minutes on your phone today. Well, if all of that time was somehow involved with generating some type of income, then it would all be justified. It would make sense. But I'm actually just engaged in oftentimes mindless, and even if it's not mindless, it's just me engaging in media consumption in various forms. And some might call it a waste of time. It certainly is filling time. But yeah, thinking I'm going to do that. Delete these apps. Temporarily, of course. Yeah, I think it's... with YouTube, it's more about learning. When I rationalize these decisions, right? Because most of the content, much of the content that I'm interested on YouTube is like I'm learning things, or at least the subject matter is interesting. On Instagram, it's not that. It's a lot of people getting fucked up, getting hurt, fails, as they say, and then there's a lot of humor and there's a lot of crossover between those things. But Instagram shows a lot of brutal stuff. They actually show people. They show videos where it's like, I'm sure the person is dead. And I'm surprised that they allow that on there. And they start to just like feed it to you through their... I mean, clearly something about my activity is indicating that I want to see stuff like that. But yeah, once they start showing you, it keeps coming. And Instagram is really hardcore when it comes to that stuff. YouTube, as far as I know, that's not allowed. And I think that's probably a good thing. I'm a big fan of, like I said, freedom and free will, and as long as you're not hurting people. So if those videos are out there and people want to post them, they should be able to post them on the internet. It would be nice if there was like a special separate app for that, or a separate website, right? And I know that there are. But I find it very strange that a company or an application like Instagram, in its own way, promotes that. I guess if your activity indicates that you might spend time watching that stuff, it just starts putting it out there. So there are videos of people getting like incredibly, like gravely injured and dying and stuff. Very strange to me. And I know to many people it's even more strange that I would watch things like that. I'm happy that the weather is warming up now. Yesterday was Easter. Yesterday yesterday was not warm like this and sunny like this, at least not where I was. Near the tail end of the day, it kind of cleared up a little bit, but the past several Easters, past several years, I've gone out to a lake, taken a kayak across the lake, and then hiked around in the same general area, not in the same spot, but in the same general area every year. And every year, it's been really cool how there may have been rain earlier in the week, or it may have been more overcast earlier in the week, but on the day, Easter was like so beautiful. The sun came out, it was warm, and it just was a beautiful, warm spring day. This year it was a lot colder and it was gray. And even though I went to the same general area, I decided not to do the hiking because I wasn't in the mood, I guess, to deal with the mud. On my way out there, I was thinking, yeah, I'm probably going to go out anyway. But then I changed my mind. I was like, yeah, no. Maybe if the kayak wasn't necessary to get to that other side of the lake, then I would have done that. But I've enjoyed spending Easter that way the past several years, connecting with nature and being present in nature, experiencing in real time. At least this is the belief or the idea in my head. I'm experiencing the transition into spring, the transition from winter into spring. This year, I'm not going to say, it wasn't freezing cold, but it felt more like winter yesterday. That was the vibe was more like we weren't really there yet. Timing was a little bit off, but I had a great day either way. Oh yeah, by the way, at this point, it's obvious, I'm sure, if you pay attention to these things. But I'm using I got a mic. I bought this mic like 2 months ago, at least. And then I just never made a video since then. I tried it once to see how it sounded on my end, but I never, posted anything. It seems to be much better for a video like this where I'm speaking. But I am curious to see if any of these sounds that I'm hearing right now will appear on the mic. The birds, the sounds of the birds that I hear in the distance, and other background noises coming from the neighbor's property. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.